What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is October 21st of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the big break through 12,000. Bitcoin has rallied back up to its August 2020 highs, and we're also going to be talking about what this means for the potential rally to $20,000 in quarter one of 2020, as well as taking a look at some of the major altcoins, which are signaling signs that it could be entering towards bottoming territory. We've got a lot of things to discuss throughout the video right after our quick sponsor. And our sponsor for today's episode is AltFins. AltFins is a free platform for traders to scan, analyze, and trade altcoins across multiple exchanges. In essence, it helps you discover trading ideas and strategies. It automatically recognizes 16 common chart patterns such as triangles, channels, heads, and shoulders, among others. It has many predefined trade signals, but you can also use the screener to filter coins based on technical indicators. You can create a watch list, monitor Twitter news, and also create alerts to help you stay on top of markets. The platform helps you monitor your portfolio of coins and trade history across exchanges all in one place. Check out the link down below in the description for more information. Alrighty, everyone, so let's go ahead and start by taking a look across the board on the market. If we take a look over the last 24 hours, very few altcoins outpacing Bitcoin here. Bitcoin has obviously been the true leader here over the last 24 hours. We got a few exceptions like Ample and Decentraland, as well as Waves and Elrond. But as we go down the list here, we can only see that not many altcoins are really leading the way here. In fact, most cryptocurrencies are in a no-trend scenario at the moment, as Bitcoin has really been capturing a lot of the volume and attention here, as we started to see volume dominance for Bitcoin really take off here over the last few days. Now, before we dive into taking a look directly at Bitcoin, I just want to let you all know we just launched a Digifox Discord. It's a new addition to our community tab where you can join directly from the community tab within the application. The update should be coming out here very soon. But for those of you who want to get access to it early, I'm going to leave the Discord link down below. Come join us. We have a lot of great conversations, and the group is completely free to join. We've got the general chat, personal finance, the crypto space, in this case we can talk about crypto, the content hub, and also a lot of great resources here for help using the application or maybe learning more about it, and also, of course, our voice channels down here where you can communicate with other users. So you can be some of the first to join in here. We had a great group yesterday that joined after our webinar, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that down below. You guys are welcome to join. So let's go ahead and dive into the most important topic here, guys, as it is the largest cryptocurrency, and it's something we've been watching for since as far back as August, as we yet again got rejected here in August around $12,000 without having the ability to set a weekly close above 12,000. We were able to get, the weekly highs here above 12,000, but it's a matter of getting that weekly close to solidify on a longer term perspective that we're able to hold these levels. Well, the really good news here is, as we're stepping into Wednesday here, we're only halfway through the week, and we've got a really solid chance here to continue climbing with the kind of momentum we've seen over the last few days. Now, you guys don't need me to tell you this. Over the last few days, Bitcoin has continued to kill it, really over the last few weeks, since we started to continue maintaining higher lows after the correction back here in September. And going through the month of October, we've been showing constant signs of confidence here. There's been a lot of great macro events going on, which we'll hit on in just a moment. But all in all, the chart here looks beautiful. The full V-shaped recovery since back here in June of 2019. Coming here, and over a year, we have, in the sense of recovery for Bitcoin, setting in higher significant lows and higher significant highs. Now, the next goal here is just to continue that trend. We want to set in another higher close here, and then, if anything, come down towards 12, 13K for support to signify that this level, which is shown very clearly to be resistance in the past, back here in June of 2019 and August of 2020, and here back in February 2018, if we can make this level support, it is going to be the last sign of confidence we need to signal that we're going towards 20K. And sometime around, our prediction is sometime around quarter one of 2021. It's really just a few months away. And I really can't tell you guys, as much as some people are like, I want it to happen in a week, or I want it to happen tonight. At the same time, we can not only see this as a point of time where there can be more accumulation if you're still trying to build your crypto portfolio out, but along with that as well, this is probably going to be the best performing asset in this given period of time, guys. I don't think stocks are going to do the equivalent of going from this general percentage return range. Again, we can just go ahead and use our date and price tool here. If this was to happen over a given amount of time, maybe let's say into March 15th, 2021, right? This is expecting Bitcoin is going to be making about a 60% move from where we are just to retest the highs. I think that that's a very reasonable expectation. More than anything, it's an optimistic expectation over just the course of a couple of weeks. So again, I think in this case, we've got the momentum here and we've got the macro perspective. We have what's going on with the IMF. We just talked about it yesterday. If you haven't watched that video, please go check it out after this one, where we dive into interpreting, not only myself, but also did an interview with Mauricio from Len.io, where we talked about, what this means for the world stage. What's going on in emerging economies right now that has got the IMF stating that they're going through a new Bretton Woods moment. Again, I can't emphasize, guys, if you don't know the history of the Bretton Woods meeting or really what this entailed for the global economy and what this meant, responding post-World War II, I highly recommend you go check out that video. This is a very significant event. It's not something to be brushed under the rug. The second thing as well that we have continued to see is corporate treasurers continuing to expose themselves to Bitcoin following Square and MicroStrategy. And now we've got a new UK-listed firm that is committed to putting up at least 10% of its cash reserves into Bitcoin. It might even go even further than that. Again, we're going to have the official numbers soon. But what you're starting to see is so many different companies from all different types of walk of life in regards to the world of business and finance now starting to consider getting some exposure here. We're starting to see a growth of the 1970s trend, where as we had massive printing and the highest levels of inflation in recorded U.S. history, we had a lot of companies starting to expose their balance sheet to different assets. This is basically a symptom here. When the central banks of the world keep printing money, people look to park their capital elsewhere. And another thing that was important to be mentioned here is that in this article here, they hit on a point that I've talked about a lot that I don't think many people talk about, which is the other factor here. With interest rates in the UK and many other countries like the US coming down to record lows of 0.1%, Mode, the company here that's acquiring Bitcoin, said it would also seek to diversify away from low-interest money market instruments to maximize the value of returns from its recent IPO. So it's really, really interesting stuff here, guys. A lot of emerging companies taking this step forward. And again, it's a part of the basket of other companies, whether it be due to demand for exchange-traded note products. For example, we've seen that with the 3iQ Bitcoin Fund, CoinShares, Grayscale, which have played a large role in the demand for Bitcoin, but also companies like MicroStrategy, Galaxy Digital, Square, and many others joining this list. It's very, very exciting to see this kind of growth. Now, I would like to say that at the end of the day, it's just Bitcoin here that has me excited, but it also is altcoin markets. And again, don't brush this off, guys. If you want any kind of take from me, I do believe in a diversified portfolio, especially during times where there is excessive risk taking, when the market is ticking up. Altcoins historically perform better. So again, putting aside fundamentals, we have to keep that in mind as traders and investors. Now, we've been talking a lot about kind of small and mid caps here on the channel, the ones that we're probably going to be actually investing in. But I like to look at the large caps, not just for the sake of per se, speculating and maybe investing off of price or having some long-term exposure to it on a fundamental basis. But also, I like to look at the large caps because they give us a lot of history to work with in regards to price, to know when we could be expecting a reversal or a top out of markets. Let's take a look here at the old famous play here that either you love or hate, XRP. Now, again, not here to say that you should invest in XRP or anything of the sort. I'm just looking at what price is telling me to signal a general sign here that the market might be ready for a broader reversal. Well, what's interesting here is that we've been repeating history just like we did back in 2016 and early 2017 before XRP had its two super cycles, where it went massively higher than it had ever gone before against Bitcoin and in terms of USD. And we can see here that we basically started off that cycle into early 2017 with a long-term descending wedge. It was more than a year here that it had been building up here, where we had lower lows and lower highs. The highs were dropping in at a faster rate than the lows for the support range. And that's the exact same thing that we've got going on here, guys. It's a classic descending wedge, the exact same technical formation. So many people are trying to trade the ins and outs, the hourly, the daily chart. They're trying to buy in too early. And I've constantly told people in this case, XRP outside of maybe some short-term trades when we had like the dramatic bottoms and we started to see some momentum coming in. I've been confident that XRP is not ready for its super cycle just yet. We have to break outside of this descending wedge, or at least possibly see a little bit more drawn out price action. Again, as we talk about the expanding cycles in Bitcoin, it may be that we don't have a rally or breakout here after 70 weeks like we had back here, where we set our final low and continued higher to have the super cycle. It might be that there's not as much momentum as before, and along with that, then in this case, the overall low that we're going to set in might be 80 weeks from when we started out this previous low here back in August of 2019. Could be extended. All we know is that it's probably at a bare minimum going to be 70 weeks, which we're actually getting very close to here. That's going to be in December of 2020. And outside of that as well, Litecoin. Litecoin looks fantastic here in this case, guys, just in the sense of the technical pattern. I really like seeing where it is right now because historically, this range here below 4 million sats, roughly around, 400,000, but roughly around 350,000 is where price has very rarely lived, right? And what I mean by that is that anytime it usually comes down to this price range, it pops up in price. And over a course of just a couple of weeks or a couple of months, Litecoin in this case makes great moves against Bitcoin at a minimum a 3x in this case. So that's what's really exciting. Again, not saying that I'm going to be stacking up a lot of Litecoin. I'm just saying in this case that, whatever cryptocurrencies you're interested in, broadly speaking, the altcoins move together. And we have to watch for these large caps to get some of that initial liquidity from people who might be speculating outside of their Bitcoin holdings. It happens, guys. It's a realistic thing, whether you like it or not. And it's important to keep it in mind when you're going about investing or trading, right? But anyways, we've got a lot of other different altcoins across the board. Another big one that we didn't talk about that I didn't have up here on the chart is obviously taking a look here at Ethereum to Bitcoin, right? We've been keeping an eye here. Sorry, it looks really janky because I'm not looking at the logarithmic chart. But even turning off our drawings here, right? We're setting in that higher level at 3 million Satoshis for Ethereum that we've been talking about, setting in those higher lows. Out of any of the three top plays here outside of Bitcoin, I would say Ethereum is my top play by far. I've got a good position at Ethereum. I think with what's going on in DeFi, it has the biggest narrative here. So if you're looking for that next safe bet, Ethereum is really my favorite. Again, it can't be direct financial advice, guys. You have to go out there and determine it for yourself. I just don't see that kind of momentum happening elsewhere. As much as I do think Litecoin and XRP might have a place in this space, for sure. Again, just wanted to mention that. All right. So last thing that I want to talk about here in the sense of altcoins before we dive back into this kind of macro discussion of Bitcoin is watching Bitcoin dominance, or vice versa, watching altcoin dominance. And for this critical level here that we have indicated here on this tweet by Goomba here, that brought up a really good point about watching history here and seeing whether or not the recent decline in altcoin dominance or the increase in Bitcoin dominance can sustain itself. If it tops out here or bottoms out in the sense of altcoin dominance and finds support, then in this case, we start to turn back over, alt season's going to kick in. If not, if we break through, there's not going to be an alt season probably for some time, and Bitcoin is going to continue to gain dominance as it tickers back up towards 20,000. This is a very critical level to watch, guys. It's a very exciting time. I'm going to be watching this because I do have a decent amount of altcoin exposure, but again, in this case, we'll have to see what happens. If we do see a severe break on this, I'm definitely going to consider probably deallocating from altcoins and starting to reallocate towards Bitcoin. I'm not stepping out of crypto by any means. I think right now is a great time where you're going to see US dollar values continue to increase across the board, even for altcoins, even if they were to lose dominance. But a lot of it might go towards Bitcoin. Who knows? We have to watch here on where the narrative shifts to. But all in all, guys, this is a very, very exciting time. I'm very genuinely interested to see how things are going to happen because just looking at this chart here, you couldn't have asked for a more beautiful pattern here. The faster recovery than the sell-off, right? We've had pretty much a solid recovery here back up to this level, and maybe for the first time since back here in 2017 in December, we can actually get up to this price range, make it support, and actually get up here very, very quickly back up to that 20K level. I'm very excited to see what happens. And I want to hear from you all down below in the comments. What do you think is going to happen here? What's your time range? Do you think it's going to happen before the end of the year, as some people are calling for? Or do you think it's going to happen in early 2021, later in 2021, or maybe even at a later date? I'm interested to hear from you all. But if we look at the logarithmic chart, looking at the expanding cycles, that's the conclusion that I've come to at the end of the day, that we're going to see it at the beginning of 2021. So we'll have to continue watching out, guys. Again, I want to emphasize, if you like this video, please drop a like, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon if you haven't already. And of course, join us over at the Discord down below. This is going to be a great place where, whether it be in the general chat or in the crypto space or in general, you guys can talk about all that's crypto and really get in tune with a lot of people who are at the cutting edge of DeFi and really trying to manage their personal finances, probably just as much as you or I might be. So again, consider joining it. We'll leave it linked down below. And all in all, guys, thank you all so much for joining us on this episode. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.